Lauren, you alright?
Hello. Can you hear Kim speaking? Boy. Okay, different microphone. Is this better?
A little better. I can hear less Kim. That's good. As much as I love Kim, but
Yeah.
Oh, was that Kim in the background, was it?
yeah.
There you go.
Have you done your video yet, Warren?
Have I done my video?
11 unboxing video yet?
No. Runa and Neil's done that. I've been up to my eyeballs with other stuff, so
Cool. So is it out?
I think out this afternoon, or very shortly, or imminently.
Yeah, he's loud.
Confirmed.
It's not going to work with him in the room. I don't know. I think I'm moving to the other room. I don't have a microphone there. He should be moving.
Should I send him a message? Kim, please move.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
And he just started, so it's going to take a while. I'll move to the other room. Warren, can you get Nielsen here?
I can ping Nils, yes.
Just tell him to open his Discord, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So.
Oh dear.
I do like the background of Warren.
Thank you.
Just lots of nice things. To
Just
look at.
junk and Lego and coffee machine.
That's better. Less junk to look at here.
Oh, there's
I've got
Nils.
junk.
Come.
Let me show you junk. Junk.
Oh, it's on top of the cupboard.
Christmas.
I was going to say Christmas parcels by the looks of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a air hockey table there. My wife did not really appreciate. It's got air and everything. It's brilliant, but she don't like it.
We have Mark Goodson and his bird joining us.
Oh yeah.
And I can see the atop of Nils's head.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this room.
Stand up.
I guess I have to stand up. That's the thing. That's a little bit small.
No.
I guess this really.
Great start today.
So it sells the secret. I'm not that tall.
It's like being with what's it from Hi-Fi. He's always at the bottom of his screen, isn't he?
Oh, Phil Whitaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always tickles me.
So we are just waiting for Seb to move room because Kim had gate crashed his office and is obviously very, very loud. So hopefully he will be back shortly. How are we all doing?
Good.
Yeah.
You?
Yes, ready to wind down for Christmas.
What? So
Like-
you just have the first?
I'd like to wind down for Christmas.
Nah,
Yeah,
I
so
wind
do I.
up. The 24 days website is working.
Looking good as
amazing.
well.
What's that analogy of you see the graceful swan above, you don't see the manic kicking of the feet under the water. Feels having been on the other end of 24 days this year, it feels like that.
Well, from the other end, it looked seamless and lovely and all polished and smooth.
Well, that's Christian Steinmeier for you. Ravi and his hair.
Is Ravi ready for his quiz? That's what I want to know. Yes, whilst he's eating lunch by the looks of it. That's right.
Ravi sent us a message last weekend that he was all ready for the quiz.
Oh dear.
Thank you. That was exactly my reaction.
It's not officially Christmas until Ravi's done the quiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, until I've jumped up and down in furious rage. Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Well, hopefully Seb is going to rejoin us. If not, we'll go on without. Let's see if he's around. Has everyone read today's 24 Days article from Daniel Lancaster?
Well, I got a good plug-in. You know how Lottie and I spent hours of our time recording ourselves, reading the articles. As Dean says, you don't need to these days. You can just get something to read it out for you. I'm like, now we're going to carry on. Anyway, I've listened to mine using this Chrome extension. We listened to Danny's. It was really good with the Chrome extension.
Nice.
Read
Just
aloud.
hit F9 in Edge.
Yeah.
In Edge, hit F9 and it reads it to you.
Nice. I'll have to reinstall Edge.
Much better to listen to Paul or Lottie speak, though.
Yeah.
It was a little bit time intensive. That
Yeah. The 13 views each is not.
Well, look like Seb is back. Maybe? Maybe not?
Maybe. I think so.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yep.
Excitingly, I'm now in my new office.
Ooh.
Woohoo.
Right next to the old office. About. So let me put you all on. Ooh, Mark's got the birds out.
Oh, yes, yes. Are you referring to the budgie or the chicken? I don't know.
Oh, well, I mean, I can only hit the budgies, not the chicken. Is there only one?
the chicken's not real.
I was going to say, the chicken looks a bit
chicken.
stuffed.
It's a trophy warmer. The kids wanted to throw it away, but I couldn't resist
Aw.
keeping it.
It's
It's their
perfect.
childhood. They just don't want it anymore. So save that.
Very good. What are we doing today, Warren and Niels?
Hopefully, we're going to take a look at shiny new release of 11 and the block grid. With the intention was for you to drive and take a look
Okie doke.
of some snazzy new stuff.
Try that out. Screen. Screen 1. Go live. Oh. I skipped this. 1 second. Yeah. Screens. Screen 1. Text readability. Okay. I can go live. It says. Is this visible?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is it moving smoothly? Because I feel like my internet is letting me down a little bit.
Seems okay to me.
Oh, good. Okay. Sweet. So, v11 final, you said. Let's do this.
Yep.
Final. The desk is too high. Wait. There we go. That means we can use something really cool that Paul Seal made to start setting it up. Yeah, I want the latest stable in this case. Amazing. No starter kit. I don't want a solution. Local DB is fine. Excellent. Boom, boom. Done. In the final folder. Easy peasy. So that's the start. And then you've, Nielsen, I don't know how much work you've put in, Warren, but...
No, I've been doing all the
sample cycle.
the other stuff. So the the packaging side of things. But yeah, this is all Niels' work,
Yes.
really.
Sweet.
So
That
yeah,
was-
sorry, I was trying to I'm trying to set up a project of myself, but as long as you're
No,
demoing,
okay.
Sebastian, I guess
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't need to rush with that.
No, that's all right.
Okay.
I'm here to make all the mistakes that everybody else will make, so
good.
we all learn something from it.
As long as I'm not making mistakes, then it's good.
Anybody makes mistakes, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Let me just check. Oh yeah, this is definitely in
Ah.
UmbraCollab. Whoa, look at that beautiful background.
So all the ideas are flowing out of her head.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm running away. from her.
Into space. Or running away from her. That's your head, Ravi.
Very much so.
Cool. We have something on NuGet that was called Umbraco Blockit example website.
Yes.
The one I'm looking for.
That's the one.
And let's see if that installs. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, okay.
Is this the package you was hoping to get into package scriptwriter one?
Yes, it was.
Mm.
You can just put it in the query string for package, so you can
Oh.
cheat. It will work.
Okay, I'll do that later in the README and then link off to it.
Yeah.
Super duper.
So where do I put it? Oh, here it's
Just,
start a
you
kit
know, the
package and
comment
then. I see. So I would add this one. So it just takes any NuGet package, Paul.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Let's
Perfect.
see. Oh yeah, of course, because it's just a string that it outputs here then. Well, almost. It didn't do it this time. We'll figure that one out later.
Not as a starter kit. I'll just do it in the packages one. But yeah.
I
I'll
see
send
what
a
you mean.
link to it. I'll do it and send you a link, and then you can update your docs.
Yep. Makes sense.
Lovely, lovely.
All right. Let's see if it worked. Copying block grid files. That sounds good.
That's promising.
Doing an import
As
XML
I was
migration.
super frustrated with it this morning on a side caveat, is that the build targets file was not the same name as the NuGet package, and hence it wasn't copying app plugins over, and that took me like all of this morning to figure out naming stuff.
All right. Stuff has happened. Let's see. It hasn't happened yet. Okay, there we go. Or is it restarting all
It's,
the time
it's
now?
re-looping.
It's
Why is
on
it looping?
watch. It's on watch. I'll just do that and run instead.
Why is it?
All right.
So yeah, looked like the models was getting generated and then it was stopping the application and then restarting again.
Oh yeah. Oh, fun. If it's in memory, why is it on disk?
Oh,
Look at that.
Ta-da.
Beautiful website about reducing your greenhouse gas emissions. Okay, we should shut down laptops. Reduce your emissions. Very good. And in Umbraco, it looks a little bit like this. Home and services. Is services on a separate page?
Yes, there's a different
Oh, yeah.
page.
Yeah, I see. So I have literally not prepared. I'm all seeing all of this for the first time, just for everybody else to know. I've seen the NuGet package, and that's about it, and the GitHub repo, but I haven't looked into what it's actually yet. So this looks very cool. In fact, this looks exactly like the front end that we just saw, except we can edit stuff. Amazing. Okay, we're done.
Maybe Niels, maybe you want to chime in and kind of talk about the snazzy new block grid?
Yeah, I can do that for sure. Yeah, but where to start and where to end? That's the question. I was hoping that maybe I could demo stuff from my computer. So give me just one more minute, and I'll be ready to just present it.
Not a problem. In the meantime, we could probably look at the block grid setup and see what's happening there. Just one editor, and that's got all the things on it. It's really cool. So 2 column, 1 column sections, a hero, an inspiration block. That sounds amazing.
So you can see that there's some groups as well, so you can kind of group the kind of types of blocks together. Maybe you have, I don't know, quite a lot of blocks or components that make up your block grid, and then you can easily add some groupings.
So I guess I'm ready. Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure. So okay, where to start? Do you want to see? Yeah, now I'm just trying to put it out there. What would you like to see? Because I have this project running as well on my computer now. So.
Yeah, you want to share a screen instead of me?
Yeah, let me do that. Okay, not such a Discord.
Yeah.
Would it be just a full screen here? I pick the one. Yeah, okay. And
on the next screen, can you please choose to have text readability as the preferred thing?
Oh, wow. Sorry. Where do I do that?
When you're sharing, you get you says
so
pick a screen, and then you
stop sharing.
No, you can keep going. No, you haven't yet. But on the second screen you see, you should see a drop down saying, "I want text readability."
See a second screen. No, sorry. Just click and share, and then nothing happens. That's great.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I have not used Discord recent times, so I guess that's the problem. And I'm not on the desktop app as well. Maybe I should have done that. Okay, maybe I should get that one then. Yeah.
What do you see? Because it's the same for everything, even for the browser, I think.
Yeah.
And he's gone. Definitely not seeing anything anymore now.
Yep.
The opposite of sharing a screen.
Yeah. Just leave.
While we wait for him, Warren, I'll just update package scriptwriter to have it in the drop down for starter kits.
Superstar, thank you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so won't need to be any feature.
All right, cool. On a side caveat, I think I know that you're reading the feed from our UmbraCo, and obviously with Shiny New Marketplace. I'll check with Nathan or Andy, but I think there is an actual public API as well that you can probably consume.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
No worries.
Hey. It looks like Niels is back. We just can't see or hear him yet. Oh, we hear him.
I hear you, Niels.
Oh, yeah, it's not muted when you open. That's
perfect.
Nice privacy.
No, just
expect it to be muted when you open it up. But okay, I'm trying the desktop app. Give me 2 minutes. Sorry,
While we're waiting, can I just ask a quick question on element types that will probably apply in the grid as well? We're putting publish and archive dates on the element types, which is great, and I can get them to display over it in a little angular filter. But by default, if a user doesn't add a publish or archive date, we're just saying the day it was created is it's just published. And I just wondered, are there dates associated with element types when they're created?
No, not yet. So there's something on the roadmap going down the line is that you'll be able to publish a specific block and have a variant of a specific block and unpublish a specific block. At the minute, it's all just tied to the content that it's on. That's right, isn't it, Seb?
I don't know. I believe you.
Okay. I'll just say any old thing then. I can see your screen, Niels, and I can see ourselves, but I can't hear you. Can't hear you, Niels. Can I unmute you?
Yeah, I think if it's coming in UmbraCo anyway, that would be great. Publish an archive now.
But infinite editing doesn't make it sound as bad as I've made it sound.
Okay, yeah. So, are we ready? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
We can see the screen. We're all good.
Nice. Things are working. Sorry for not being prepared. I guess
right.
I just learned this this lunch. We were doing this. That's great. But anyway, it's very relevant now because there's a new property editor in UmbraCo, which is called the Block Grid Editor. And as you can probably already recognize from the name, it's quite similar to the Block List Editor. And you know all of that. Maybe would you like to just see me set up a new page with it? Could that be interesting?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. Block Grid Page. Whoops, if I can spell.
I think that's a document type.
Yeah, I'm making a document.
Oh, I thought you were making content. Okay, got it.
Sorry, the grid. Grid, I'm just going to make a new one. We'll call it the UmbraCollabs. And as you see here, that's sort of a new configuration screen you haven't seen before. It's, of course, specialized for the block grid. And we have implemented some sample configuration that we can go with. Or you can go ahead and just add blocks, just like we know from the block list editor. Similar, you add a block and pick which element type it should be based on. Let's maybe just go ahead with the sample configuration, just so we have something to look at. It's basically adding 4 blocks, similar to this, creating the element types. So we have 4 different element types now put in our document types tree. Yeah, and what else? I was really hoping you could guide me through what you want to see, but there's a lot of things that look similar to what you know from the block list editor. We can set the amount of blocks that should be available here, that can be put in, sorry. We have the live editing mode. We have ability to set the width of the property editor. And then there's 2 new ones. We have grid columns. So the main difference from the grid to the list is that instead of being a 1-dimensional list, we are now working in 2 dimensions because blocks can have a width, and thereby it can create space next to blocks, and that way we can have blocks standing next to each other. And there's also a style sheet, but maybe let's return to that later. Oh, by default it's 12, just a good design standard. Let's maybe just try to create this one and see how that goes. I'll allow it in the root.
So Ravi is asking if we can demo adding a row with 2 columns and one with 3 columns.
Yeah, we can do that. I guess this is the one. Good naming going here. So yeah, you see, quite similar to the block list editor. And if I start adding content, we'll have a similar editing experience with the infinite editing over there, and then the block appearing here. Oh, and now we're already cheating a little bit because the demo blocks that I installed has a custom view. Maybe I should make one without. Oh, sorry. Let me just go add one without so you can see how it looks. Add a block. What should we call it? Ravi, do you have a good name?
Discord demo.
There you go. Discord demo. Good name, Mark.
Good
Perfect.
demo.
Or
Maybe
if
we
you s- if
actually
you
we
spell,
don't.
spell it wrong, let's call it disco demo.
Ah, yeah, funny.
No,
Okay.
not that funny.
Ah,
Sorry.
okay. A little bit funny.
But we can have a
Um,
mirrorball property now. But do we need to create the element type first?
Yeah, we in the block editors we are bound to an element type for each block, and the element type has to be unique. So that can seem a little bit funny now that we're not adding any content, but I would argue that in many situations you would most likely have some content to your blocks anyway. So in this example it might seem a bit silly, but should be good. So I created a new element type, and now I'm adding a block type based on it. We can see the content model is based on our Disco demo here. Didn't add any properties to it. And we have the label template, as we know from the block list editor. Here we can put the display name for our content. And then we have a few other options to look at, but let's maybe just go ahead and make this one to see how a default block acts. We have the Disco demo. There was no content on it, so we don't get the overlay, and we can add it here a few times. Cool. So what was different is that we can now have sizes on blocks, and we can have sizes in actually two different ways. Why this one's setting so? What did I call the data type? This one. So one thing we can do is we can give blocks a size themselves, and we can put a size to a block by showing the size options, and then we can pick how many columns it should span, and this adapts to the setting of the grid. So since it's a 12-column grid, we have 12 columns to pick from. Let's say I configure the block to only span 6 columns. Then we can go ahead and see. Let me just refresh this one. See that, okay, I didn't save it. Great, let's just add it a few times. You see now that the blocks goes next to each other because they're only spanning 6 columns, which is half the grid's width. What we also can do is we can add multiple sizes to a block, like saying it can span 6, 9, and 12 columns. That fits with our design. And what we then have created is a way more free functionality for our editors, since they now get a scale handle on their blocks, and they will be able to scale the blocks. So in this way, you can sort of lay out stuff already. But another way to control layout is by using a block to form a layout for other blocks. And there's already an example of this in the demo blocks called the 2-column layout. And if I'm just adding that, we'll see that we get a block, and I see it's not rendering probably. Maybe there's a fault here on my machine. There was supposed to be a little bit of space around, but anyway, basically what this block does is that it has 2 areas in it, and each area acts like a layout of its own, like a new grid within this one. So we now have a left side area and a right side area, and we can start adding content to that. For example, here I'm adding a headline block, then I'm adding another one with an image here, and I already have some images. Great.
Niels, can you restrict what type of content goes in those blocks?
Yes. Yeah, we can do that.
So you could say the left side can only have text and the right side can have images. Can you do that?
Yeah, you can do that.
Amazing.
Let's get around to that maybe just in a bit, because then I will look at the configuration of how this block was made. Just gonna add some content to the other side. I'm a very creative content writer. You can see that. So now what I have is 2 blocks on the left side and the block in the right side. And what is different from scaling blocks, as we saw up here, is that the content in those areas, the left and the right area, is is strictly in their area. Like each area acts as a new layout on its own, so this image that are in the left side would never accidentally go to the right side. But what could happen up here is if I delete this disco demo number 2, then the disco demo here number 3 would go up and take that place. So you need to be aware about the structure you are looking for when you're picking either scaled blocks or separated layouts. And in this case, we want to have the left side content together in the left side and the right side content together in the right side. And if we are going for a mobile responsive solution, the right side content should go beneath the left side content and not mix in between. But let's have a look at what this 2-column layout actually, how that's actually set up. I guess that's what you were asking for. And if I was listening right, it was Dean, right? No answering.
Yes, it was
Yeah,
Dean.
No,
okay,
it's Ravi.
cool.
Yeah.
Or Dean.
Yeah, that's Ravi. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, I'm jumping ahead. We have the 2-column layout here, and if we go to settings of that one, we can see it has no size options, meaning that it will go for full width. That's the default. And we have an areas tab up here, and within that one, we are inheriting the 12-column grid, but we can override it if we want to. And here, 2 areas has been configured. We can add more to form more complex layouts, and we can scale our areas. So if we want to have a layout that looks like this, then we can do that. For each area, we can control the allowed block types, and what you see here is that nothing has been configured for this left area, but what it says here in the little text is that all blocks allowed for areas can be created by default. So let's maybe zoom out a little bit and have a look at the headline block. One of the first boxes we have here in the pre-value editor is called permissions, and here we have allowed the headline block to be created in the root, so it can be created outside the 2-column layout, and it's allowed for being created in areas. So for areas that does not specify what it's allowing for, this will be allowed. What we might want to go check here is the 2-column layout. We don't want the 2-column layout within the 2-column layout. Maybe some want, but I've chosen to not do that.
Yeah, I've already seen screenshots of people making this overflow into 13 inside.
I mean, it can be okay to do, and hopefully your editors won't want to put 13 inside each other, right?
I was gonna say that's the most important thing. It's like what do you need your editors to do?
Yeah, and I mean, don't know what type of editors out there, but I think they will be more clever than just randomly putting layouts into each other. But let's maybe to answer your question, Dean, look at that. We have this ability to specify what is allowed. So let's say for the left side, we only want the headline to be there, and we want to have 2 headlines and maximum 3 headlines. We can do that.
Amazing.
We can also use the groups. We haven't talked about that before, but we have a group called demo blocks. We can say we want just what's in the demo block, and we want at least 2 of those. Doesn't matter which one of them, but just 2 of those. Maybe let's have a look at what that group actually contained. So that's this group. So actually, the only thing we exclude by picking the demo block is the disco demo block. We can add more groups, and we can name them just like we want to. Just add a group form.
I really like the way the demo was named with layouts and content. I thought that was perfect. In the previous demo, yeah.
Exactly. That's not done for this one, but that's right. That's I guess that's an obvious one, especially if you're coming from the grid layout editor. Then it makes sense to divide them like that. So what else to show? Maybe we can have a look at the advanced tab. You can add the custom views here. Oh, sorry.
Can I just ask, because I forget, I noticed you set 1 to 6 columns wide, and then you added 9 and 12. Does that mean you get an option for only those 3 sizes on
Yes.
the block?
Yeah, let's go back
So they
and
can't
verify.
they can't make a 7 or an 8. They can only make 6 or 9 or 12.
Exactly. So if we look at this, this
absolutely fantastic.
yeah. So here we see I can't make it smaller than 6. I can scale it until I reach 9 or 12. So that's the options we have available.
On that
here.
note, I'm so sorry. I'm a bit excited about this, as you can tell.
Yeah.
When you resize it, does it set anything in like a data attribute that I can hook into with CSS?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You can maybe show the front end as well in a moment, and some of the CSS and the hooks.
Maybe we can jump ahead because also time is a little bit limited today. So let's just go ahead and look.
I can't believe you built this in such a short space of time.
Okay.
So
yeah.
well.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
And I think what is great is that now we're just showing off this project, but you can go download it afterwards and get it up and running. You just saw Seb setting it up. So let's just maybe get around what this project contains, and you can go investigate further. I think a good example of what you were asking about, Dean, is how can we make things reactive towards its size. And there's an example of just that happening here with the, I call them cards. So what we have here is we have a 1-column section, and there's some rich text block going on up here. We have a different layout style sheet, which is adding some gutter or gap, it's called in CSS, between the blocks. So that's why we have a more white space in this example. And this card can span 3 and 6 columns. So it can be this small size, or it can be this large size. And typically you would probably have changed sizes on blocks by some property, but by allowing editors to do this through the UI of the block editor, they can easily try scaling a card to see how that layout would fit for them. So if they want to have a bit more interesting layout, they might want to try that, or maybe they want to put that. Oh, okay. I'm dragging a little bit bad here on the mouse pad, but you get the idea. You can easily rearrange things. And what's happening here is probably the one you're interested in. We have one look when it's small and different look when it's bigger. And maybe I can show you without diving into the code, but just looking over here. I think, what this one is doing. That's hard to see. Can I scroll out here? Okay, what this one is doing is it's getting a different class when the column span is 6. That's part of the custom view. But what's also available is some data attributes. Okay, this is really hard to look at. There's a data attribute on the grid layout item, and there's also a custom CSS variable that can be used. And if we do have the documentation. Ooh, that's the old documentation.
Docs.umbraco.com.
Oh, what a fail. Sorry, no one saw that.
So retro.
Yeah.
You can search, Nils.
The search is actually good on this site.
Oh, hello.
Oh. So this is also a demo of the new documentation platform, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's just write custom view, with the custom view for block. We will know that's not actually what I wanted. There is one thing about styling. Okay, maybe I should just get it over here. Right, a custom layout style sheet. Here is, this piece of HTML is good for you to look at if you're going to do custom styling, because it's going to show you what you have available to style from. And here you'll see the layout item, what's there for each block, has a data attribute for the column span, and you also have the CSS custom property with the color span. So that's quite neat. And what is quite important to note is this is what you can get in your front end as well. So if we go look at the front end of our website, maybe we'll jump to this page with the cards. We can see that the card here is wrapped in an Umblock grid layout item, which has color span and the CSS custom property as well available.
Perfect.
Cool. And if I can just jump ahead and maybe highlight something else that I think is quite nice about this demo is that we are exemplifying how you can create a better editorial experience for your content editors by taking the components of your design system maybe, in some cases at least, and blockify them, make them as blocks. So an example of that is this hero block up here that has a background and a headline. If we go edit it, you can see it here. There's even some colors you can set, but that's it. The call to action button would typically, traditionally, at least if I was doing the website, could have been a link and a label that you were able to add here if you wanted it, and you were able to leave them out if you didn't. What we're doing here instead is we're adding an area similar to what we are doing with the layouts. So the two column layout again that had two areas, a left and a right. But here in the hero, the area is just called extras or something. So what we are enabling editors to do here is to use blocks to add extra stuff for the hero. And in this case, it houses a call to action button. And what's great about doing it in this way is not so much the creation flow, because that would probably have been the same or maybe even easier if it was properties over here. But what is nice about it is we have divided these two things, and now we have the call to action button as its own thing. And what that enables us to do is we can drag it out and put it elsewhere in our layout. And by that, the editor can easily try out how does it look if the call to action is here, or would it be nicer if it was up in the hero?
I like the way it just subtly changes color depending on its context of the block as well. So from white to blue, depending on where you are as well.
Yeah, so that's done with CSS custom variables as well, and that's maybe also a nice thing for you to look into. Yeah, okay. Now we've been jumping a little bit around in it, not super structured. Anything that comes to mind, or anyone wants to?
Yeah,
The other thing that... go for it.
Oh, cheers. So when I was on the train back home from UmbraCollab together, and I was looking at the RC, and I clicked on that install demo, the grid types.
Yeah.
I was really struggling to get on the front end to get it to work with Bootstrap, containers, rows, and columns. For some reason, I just couldn't get it to render it out properly.
Yeah, maybe there's something missing. What is needed to do is both. Let's go back to this. Both rendering. There's a default renderer that gives the HTML we looked at before. For that, you can use this one. But what is important to note is you need to include the style sheet as well. And maybe this is not described that well, actually. Let me just see.
Just a heads up, Paul.
Okay. Yep.
But by default, Bootstrap uses Flexbox. Yep. But they've now added, you can enable CSS grid, and that way you can make your front end match the way the back end is written as well. Okay. So within the next year, you should really be able to have a front and a back end matching each other, a back office that matches the front, even in the same containers.
Okay.
Okay. This is not using Bootstrap, but what you would have to do to get started with setting up the front-end rendering is that, you have to call this eraser rendering, which will give you the HTML, but you need to get the style as well. And what's maybe not super obvious is that we don't bring a style sheet to your front end out of the box. So the way, let me just see, the way this is done is that you need to go and get the default layout style sheet, save it somewhere, for example in your front end, and then include it as written here. And I actually think this is the line mentioning that. Yeah, so we recommend putting the file in the CSS folder.
Insane how little CSS in there makes it work. CSS grid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And there's some CSS custom properties magic, especially here for some responsiveness. But you can go ahead and rewrite that all as you like. And actually,
when you give an area an alias, you can target it via the alias as well. Which is quite cool.
Yeah. And if you are into Flexbox or need something that Flexbox does, then let me just see if maybe I have something. Okay, I don't know. If you look at our source code, you will be able to find a Flexbox version as well, which okay, now I'm leaking all sorts of data, which demonstrates that you don't need to use CSS grid. The only thing to notice is if you are not using CSS grid, you can't have row spanning, so that needs to be handled in a different way at least.
I've just put a link in the chat for Bootstrap CSS grid and how to enable it. If that's helpful to anyone.
Cool. I think the last thing that Ravi asked about is how do we make live editing work?
Oh yeah, good one. Yeah,
we have
let's
13
take
minutes.
Let's take the disco block, whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Do you want a rich text editor? Oh, where did I put it? There I put it. Ravi, are you in for a rich text editor?
Yeah, rich text is fine for me.
Yeah. So let's just take, there's one here already configured. We'll just use that. Bam, bam. And what we'll see now is, of course, I have the rich text editor here. That's not so nice. You want the rich text editor out here so you can edit without opening the overlay. Let's get down to this one again. We have the disco demo here, and under advanced we have a little toggle called inline editing. It will be disabled if you pick a custom view, because what that's eventually doing is it's putting a custom view which is rendering the first property editor. And that's maybe important to notice, is that it's only I see the bird is maybe not so happy about this.
Not happy about that at all.
It's only the first property editor that will be editable. So if you only house one, you might want to hide the content editor as well. If you have multiple things going on in your content model, then you might still want to have that enabled. But let's try setting that, returning to this one, and ta-da! Wow! Now we have rich text editor rendered in our blocks.
Mind blown.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
You've installed something. What was? I didn't get the hide editor. What up?
That essentially hides this pin up here.
Oh, I see.
So if you didn't want to be able to edit this again in an overlay, then you could hide the content editor.
Got it.
But let's say you had multiple properties on this disco demo. Maybe let's just show that off for clarifications. I add another one here. Background color, something. Let's see if we have blue color. Don't know if there's any colors in it. Doesn't really matter. What you'll notice now is I cannot go and edit those. So if I re-enable the content editor, we will.
Oh yeah, because you said it only takes the first property editor on that block.
Yeah. So what we'll see here is that I can now go adjust the background color, but I won't be able to edit that in this case.
I see.
And that's done purely from a design perspective to limit the amount of UI around this. So we only have the label shown when it has focus, and we don't have the exact property label visible. So it also means you cannot access property actions and so on.
Yeah.
With the fixed area there where the image is that just using a specific custom view to do that display?
This 2-column layout, that's a. We can try removing the custom view just so you can see how that would look.
It's more just quite like to see the settings on it. That's all. So, just see that sort of thing.
But maybe just for clarifications, let's remove it just so we know what it is doing different than usual. So this is the default view that shows the element type icon and the label, similar label to what we see in the blue up here. And with that, we have a little bit of spacing around our areas. So that was the spacing I was missing before. Good to see it's there. So this, what does this custom view do? Let me try to see if I can find it. What am I revealing now? Where did I put it?
Go to
So no, maybe it's this one. Let's just go here. Maybe I can just take this full thing, open it there. So we have in this. What did I do wrong here?
You're already in the folder. Oh dear.
I guess I have installed something here. Okay, let's ignore that. This one. Let's look at that. No, that's not the default one. This one. That's not the one either.
That's close enough. That's as much as I need. So.
Sorry, I'm a bit confused. I think I installed something within. Project. Well, I guess I must have installed the other one inside. Okay, I'll just do this RV for you so you can see, because this is the custom view for the example project we just saw. But what is needed is actually just this, or maybe even just this part down here, because what you just need is you need to render the web component slots that houses the areas. We have a directory in UmbraCo doing that for you. So what this line does is that it renders a area container, which is what houses the two areas. We can maybe have a look at. No, do we have a look at? Oh, maybe I'll skip that. Sorry. Does that answer your question, Harvey?
Yeah. So, I mean, seeing the other thing with the NG attributes was sort of what I was looking for, just to sort of see the kind of thing, so that you can see what the bindings are and things like that. So that's all that section style stuff, which says go get me the background color, all that kind of.
Yep, and it's all in the package as well. So go and install it, poke it around at it.
Yeah, it's basically just sort of seeing it for the first time, so know what to expect coming down the pipe.
Yeah, so maybe this is maybe a bit advanced, but if you ignore that, then this line is what sets the background color. If we look at this example, so for this 2-column layout, section, it's called. We have a background color we can set here, and that's being done by this line. It's AngularJS. We're using ng style, setting the background color, and we are grabbing the background color from the settings data. And since it was a approved color picker, we have to write the value and add the hashtag in front.
Yeah. All good.
Cool. And as you mentioned, Warren, you can have a look at all of this as it's part of the demo. And if you ignore that I randomly installed a project here within this folder, I don't know how that happened.
It's just interesting to see things like the call to action and those little cards you set up as well. So I will definitely be looking at those. One maybe to highlight as well is the inspiration block, because the main reason to make that was to show you how you can break out of the grid for your areas. So what the inspiration block does is it's not using the block grid rendering area slots. It is instead creating the web component slots itself. And the reason to do that is to be able to put a class on them and arrange them like wanted. So if we have a look at it, we have it right here. This is not a typical CSS grid, and especially not this overlapping part. So what that is exemplifying is that you have the ability to add maybe one area bottom left and another area top right. The configuration of these areas, just have a look at it. This layout made here is not it's then taken out of play, you can say.
I just noticed in the code as well, it looks like you can add your own properties as well. So where you've got like ng attribute, bright contrast, and I can see you're getting something from the block settings there. So instead of say just having one color on a background, if you wanted to add a data attribute that can be toggled in the back office with a foreground color and a background color, you can save it as a theme and pull it in through those attributes as well. And you can set your own data attributes of any kind on there as well. So sometimes we need to bring the data attributes through to the front end to allow JavaScript to manipulate the data attributes as well. And it looks like it's just incredible. Sorry, I can see the time's nearly up. I just wanted to let you know how incredible it is.
Okay,
incredible work, amazing work.
Thank you. Maybe I want to highlight one thing about the example website is that it's using one CSS file, which is based, maybe I'm just going to zoom out a little bit again here, which is using this layout, default layout style sheet that we saw. That's what goes on until line 47 here. And then we have some configuration of that. We are adding some column gap and row gap here. And then the styling of each block and the typography and so on comes as chunks down here. Like here we have the inspiration block that's using this code. And this style sheet is the same being used in the front end and the back end. And the way that's done is that we override the default layout style sheet by setting it down here. And then again, because we wanted each block to use that, they are picking it again here. Because otherwise the hero custom view wouldn't inherit this style sheet because we're using shadow DOMs for this case. So you want to use the same style sheet for everything, which is typical in websites made before web components. This is the way to go. That's why I'm showing it here. In more modern websites using web components, you probably won't use the style sheet, but just use the web component itself.
One style sheet to rule them all, Dean.
Yeah, at least it simplifies the demo a bit, that you just have one style sheet to look at. What you do, maybe notice, if I have 1 minute extra, is that the custom views can have style sheets embedded within them as well because of the shadow DOM, and that's useful if you want to do something that's specific to back office, because now we're reusing the same style sheet. So if you wanted to do something in back office, because now we can, for example, click the H2 to open it up and edit it, then we might want to add this specifically for the back office experience. Okay, I guess time is up, so I better stop.
We should protect you from yourself, because she said you had a meeting at 2 o'clock. So.
One thing,
oh yeah, that's right.
I've added that grid example to the package scriptwriter site as well now, so you can just pick it on the drop down.
That's
super
amazing.
nice.
Thank you, Paul. And thank you so much, Niels, for showing us around. Super exciting and quite a wonderful departure from the first version that I was shown like 6 weeks ago, and it's looking so great.
A bit that we have this example website as well to demo how you go about
that
it.
helps.
And I think the coming month will also host a few blog posts and other things to help get people started.
Yeah, you're all gonna get sick of us talking about this now.
Nah.
Yeah.
I won't. I love it. I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
Because you know what we're doing. We're nesting blocks in blocks. You know, nesting content blocks inside layout blocks in the current system, and this just makes it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Such incredible work, honestly. It's amazing. I don't know how you've done it in such a short space of time. It's fantastic.
Actually, I lost track of time, but maybe it was like 5 months or 4 months or something.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you, Niels, and thank you everyone for attending. Hopefully we'll see you next week again.
Yeah, see you later.
All right, bye, Paul.
Bye.